Movies start with a girl named Noah who is 17. She's strong, she's got this rebellious streak, but she's also carrying a lot of weight on her shoulders. We first meet her as she's packing up her entire life, and she's holding this old, worn photo of herself as a little kid with her dad, Jonas. They're at a car race. She's holding a trophy. This photo is basically her lifeline to a past that's complicated. Her dad was a rally driver, a big deal, but he was also a monster, an abusive, violent man who made her and her mom's life a living hell. So now her mom, Rafaela, has remarried. And she hasn't just remarried, she's married a billionaire, a guy named William Leister, or Will as they call him. He's the guy who basically rescued them from poverty and a life of fear after the divorce. But for Noah, this isn't some fairy tale. She's being ripped away from her life, her friends, her boyfriend Dan, everything she knows, to go live in this palace. Her mom is trying to frame it like this big, exciting adventure. She tells her it's like opening a new book and a new story begins. But Noah's not buying it. She fires back, "Your life. Mine's 1,000 kilometers away." She feels completely alone, like her whole world has been turned upside down for, as she puts it, a fucking whim. When they pull up to the mansion, it's just as obscene as she imagined. It's got a spa, a gym, sports cars parked inside the house. It's a level of wealth that feels completely alien to her. She feels like an imposter, and that's when she meets him, Nicholas, or Nick for short. He's William's son, her new stepbrother, and their first meeting is, let's just say it's not exactly a warm family welcome. She's wandering the mansion, ends up in the kitchen, and he just appears. His first words to her are, "You must be my dad's new wife's daughter." The condescension is practically dripping from his voice. He makes fun of her name, saying, "Noah? Isn't that a boy's name?" Then he brings out his dog, a massive beast named Thor, and basically orders it to intimidate her. He's arrogant, cocky, and has this air of someone who owns the world, and everything in it. Noah, of course, gives it right back to him. She calls him a jerk, and the tension between them is so thick you could cut it with a knife. So right from the get-go, it's clear this is going to be a battle of wills. That night, they have their first family dinner at some fancy sailing club. William is going on and on about how perfect Nick is. He's a champion surfer, a top law student with a brilliant future. He's the golden boy, but Noah sees right through it. She's looking at him, and all she sees is a spoiled rich kid who's never had to work for anything. When Nick says he has to leave to go work on a case for his internship, Noah scoffs. She makes this cutting remark, saying something like, "Don't worry, if you fail, you'll still have your dad's company to fall back on." Ouch. The parents, trying to force them to get along, make Nick drive Noah home. And this car ride, this is where things go from bad to worse. They're arguing the whole way. He's driving like a maniac, fast and reckless, and she's terrified. She calls him arrogant, and he tells her that her own mom must have the patience of a saint to put up with her. And then Noah says the one thing that pushes him over the edge. She says, "What would you know about a mother's love?" And that's it. Something in him just snaps. He slams on the brakes, pulls over on this dark, deserted road, and physically pulls her out of the car. He just leaves her there, stranded in the middle of nowhere with a dead phone. He just drives off into the night. So Noah's stranded, right? Panicking. She manages to flag down a car. And thankfully, the guy driving isn't a serial killer. His name is Mario, and he happens to be one of Nick's friends. He asks her where she's headed, and she tells him what happened. Mario just laughs and says, "Oh, Nick didn't leave dinner for work. He left to go to a party, a huge underground party for all the local gangs." And just like that, Noah decides she's going too. She's going to confront him. When she walks into this party, it's a whole different world. There are different factions, different gangs, and at the very center of it all, like a king on his throne, is Nicholas. The perfect son, the brilliant law student, is the leader of a dangerous crew, surrounded by girls, drinking, living this complete double life. She storms up to him, furious. "Surprised I made it on foot?" she says. He tries to brush her off, tells her to go home, but she threatens to expose his secret to their parents. And this is where their dynamic shifts. There's this charge in the air between them. He gets in her space, his face inches from hers. He notices this tattoo she has behind her ear, a figure of 8 knot. He leans in close and says, "There's no knot too hard for me." It's a threat, a promise, and a flirt all at once. It's intense. Things get even crazier. A guy from a rival gang, Ronnie, who we find out just got out of prison, slips something into Noah's drink. She drinks it, not knowing. And who comes to her rescue? Nick. He sees what happens, flies into a rage, beats the guy up, and gets her out of there. He carries her home, all while she's drugged and incoherent, and puts her to bed. So he's a jerk, but there's this fiercely protective side to him that he can't seem to hide when it comes to her. A few nights later, things escalate at an illegal street race. Nick is one of the main racers, but right before the final race, everything goes sideways. Noah gets a text. It's a picture of her boyfriend Dan kissing her best friend. She's devastated, absolutely heartbroken. In a fit of anger and hurt, she decides to get revenge. She starts dancing and getting close to some random guy at the party, trying to get a picture to send back to Dan. Nick sees this, and he just loses it. He's visibly jealous. He marches over, pulls her away, and makes her a deal. He says, if you need a picture kissing a guy, take one with me. In exchange, you go home. So they do. They kiss. And it's supposed to be fake, just for a picture, but you can tell it's anything but. There's a spark there that neither of them can deny. She sends the photo to Dan with the message, only took me half an hour to find a guy more exciting than you. We're done. But the night's not over. Nick tells her to wait in his race car while he finds a friend to take her home. While she's sitting there, Ronnie, the guy from the party, Nick's main rival, comes up to the car. He sees her in the driver's seat and taunts her, challenges her to race him in the finale instead of Nick. He even offers her a 5-second head start because she's a girl. Big mistake. Because what Ronnie doesn't know is that Noah isn't just some random girl. Racing is in her blood. She accepts the challenge, and the moment the race starts, it's clear she's a pro. She handles the car with a skill that leaves everyone, including Nick, completely stunned. She doesn't just beat Ronnie, she humiliates him. It's this incredible moment of triumph for her, but it has disastrous consequences. The bet was between Nick and Ronnie. By racing in his place, Noah broke the rules. According to their code, Nick automatically loses. He has to hand over his prized car and a massive pile of cash to Ronnie. Ronnie, furious at being beaten by a girl, starts insulting Noah. He calls her a bitch. And Nick, even though he just lost his car and his money because of her, flies into a blind rage. He brutally attacks Ronnie to defend her honor. And the sight of this violent, bloody fight, it breaks something in Noah. She collapses, terrified, as the sounds of the fight trigger a traumatic memory from her childhood. Her father violently beating her mother while she hid, helpless, in a closet. This is the moment we start to understand the real depth of her pain. Her fear of violence isn't just a personality quirk, it's a deep-seated trauma. After that night, everything changes. They can't stay away from each other. Their forbidden attraction turns into a secret, passionate affair. Noah starts getting anonymous, threatening messages on her phone. Things like, should have kept your mouth shut, bitch. She assumes it's Ronnie, trying to get revenge. Meanwhile, her mom, sensing something is up between Noah and Nick, tries to intervene. She actually invites Noah's ex-boyfriend, Dan, to come and stay with them, hoping to rekindle that relationship and keep the step-siblings apart. It's a total disaster, and only pushes Noah and Nick closer together. Then, we find out Nick's big secret. All this time, we've seen him as this cocky, sometimes violent guy who loves to fight. One day, Noah follows him and discovers he has a younger half-sister, Maggie, who is seriously ill with diabetes. And the money he's been winning from his street fights, it's not for him. It's to pay for Maggie's expensive medical treatments, because his own wealthy father refuses to help. Suddenly, his entire character is flipped on its head. He's not fighting for the thrill. He's fighting for someone he loves. He's been carrying this burden all alone. At the same time, Nick's dad, William, drops a bombshell on him. He tells Nick the truth about Noah's father. He didn't die in a car crash like Noah lets people believe. He's alive. He went to prison for domestic abuse and for trying to kill Noah with a knife when she was a child. Her testimony is what put him behind bars. And the most terrifying part, he was just released from prison 2 weeks ago. The anonymous threats, the feeling of being watched, it all starts to make a horrifying kind of sense. Their secret romance culminates in this one perfect, stolen night on a beach. They confess their love for each other, and they finally give in to their feelings, knowing their parents have probably figured them out. But their time together might be running out. The next morning, they drive to a convenience store. Nick runs inside to buy a morning after pill, a detail that just feels so real and human. And while he's inside, a car pulls up. It's Ronnie. He grabs Noah, forces her into his car, and speeds away. She's been kidnapped. When they get to the hideout, the true mastermind is revealed. It's not Ronnie. It's her father, Jonas. He met Ronnie in prison and hired him to do his dirty work. The whole thing has been a setup. He doesn't really care about the $1 million ransom he demands. He just wants to terrorize Noah and her mother to make them suffer for putting him away. Back at the mansion, there's panic. The police are there. And then Nick has a stroke of genius. He remembers that the car he lost to Ronnie, the one they used for the kidnapping, has a tracker installed by the insurance company. They get a lock on the location. What follows is this insane high-stakes car chase. Jonas forces Noah to get behind the wheel and drive as they try to escape, with Nick and a police detective hot on their tail. He's screaming at her, putting a gun to her head, trying to force her to ram Nick's car head on. It all comes down to a dead end. The cars are facing each other. Looks like it's over. But then, in this incredible moment, Nick and Noah make eye contact. He knows what she's thinking. She knows what he's thinking. They both remember a conversation they had about an impossible car stunt from an Indian movie, a spinning maneuver. In perfect sync, they both slam on the gas. Their cars hurtle towards each other. At the last second, they both execute the spin. As the cars whirl past each other, Noah ducks her head. And the detective in the car with Nick has a clear shot. She fires, and Jonas is gone for good. In the aftermath, it's chaos and relief. Noah runs into Nick's arms, safe at last. Later that night, he sneaks into her room. After everything they've been through, the nightmare, the fear, they're still just two people who are desperately in love. He tells her he loves her, and she knows it's real. The film ends with their parents, William and Rafaela, watching them from the doorway. They know everything, and we hear William say to Rafaela, "We need to do something, anything, but this has to stop, now." So they're safe from the monster of their past. But now they have to face a new one, their own family, and a world that will never accept their love. They found each other in the middle of all this chaos. Two broken people who somehow fit together. But you're left with this lingering question. When a love is born from so much trauma and violence, can it ever really be a safe harbor? Or is it just another beautiful, dangerous race that you can't possibly win?